everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. Today I have a fun fold peek-aboo shutter card. Oh my goodness, this was so much fun to make. I had this wonderful craft paper I wanted to use. I've never used this paper pack before, but I love the paper, so I'm going to use it today. By the way, all the supplies and dimensions for today's card can be found down below in the description section on my YouTube channel for this video. So everything is written out for you, even how to put this card together, so please refer to that. I am not going to go through and rehash all of these dimensions and cuts and everything in this video. So pop over there. And also, if you are new to the channel, please feel free to become a subscriber. Give me a thumbs up, send me a message, hit that little notification bell and subscribe, and you will get notifications each time I post a video. And if you're returning, welcome back. All right, so I cut those little black mats, and then I'm going to cut a couple of these little patterned mats, and there will be 4 total, and 2 will go on the front of the card and 2 will go on the inside of the card. So we'll get that done very quickly. Please don't be intimidated by this card. Once you have all the recipe for how to put this together, it is actually very simple. Even though it looks like it would be intimidating, it is not. So I hope you get inspired to give this a try like I did. I think you will love the finished product. So here I'm putting together these panels again. I did 4 of these, 2 for the outside, 2 for the inside. And I am going to go ahead and do all the laborious part of making all the cuts, cutting out each piece and part before you get to the fun part of actually decorating the finished card. So what I'm working on right now are these little squares, kind of rectangles I guess, that are actually the shutter mechanisms. That is it. These 2 little pieces of cardstock are going to make all the magic for this shutter card. So let's get started. Here you want to mark the actual center. So from the top to the bottom and across the width, mark the center. I just used a little pencil here and my paper cutter here just to get a dot started, and then I'm going to bring over my T-square ruler. Now I like using the clear T-square ruler because I can see through it and it helps me make precise marks. If you're going to take any time at all on this card, this is where you need to be the most careful. So just make your little hash mark here. You can see I'm doing that in pencil very quickly. That's going to be the center part of your card, and then we're going to put this back in our paper cutter, and I wish I'd zoomed out a little more here so you could see. I'm putting each corner in the actual blade guide to make sure I've got these aligned perfectly, and then I'm cutting up to that hash mark just on one end of these little shutter pieces. This is going to make a V in each one of your shutter pieces, and if you go a little beyond, it's not a deal breaker. Don't fret about that. Just get you 2 pieces that look like that. Now here is my base of my card, and I'm going to simply score at 2 1/8 right here. And I'm going to fold that in towards the center of the card. This is creating our gatefold card. And then I'll take the other side and fold it up to meet that scored side that's just easier for me to do. Then I'll reinforce both of those folds with my bone folder, and we'll be ready to move forward. Okay, so there's your little gatefold card. That's the basis of this whole shutter card. Now we're going to go back to those little shutter mechanism pieces, and we're going to score these at a 1/2 inch. I always forget I need to flip this around that I can measure from both sides of this paper trimmer. This is a Fiskars paper trimmer, and it's really, really good. So the little black part there is for scoring, and the orange tab is for cutting. Alright, so I'm going to get my 1/2 inch score there. See that? And that's all we're going to do for the shutter mechanisms. I mean, that's it. Simple. Now the inside panel will look like that, and then I'm using a little circle die, and I chose to use my circle die up towards the upper portion of the inside panel. Some people choose to put them right in the middle, but I'm going to tell you one of my pet peeves about cards. A, I don't like them to be real bulky, so you'll never see me do some really fancy, beautiful florals that are so dimensional that you can't put them in an envelope. I won't ever do that. And the other thing I like to make sure that I do is include an area for a person to write their signature or a message on the inside of the card. I don't believe in flipping it around and writing something on the outside. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces and parts done, let's start putting this thing together. So these are those outside panels. I just flip my card over because it's easier for me to adhere these in a little better fashion when I open the card up. That's just easier for me. Do what's easiest for you. Okay, and then I will move on. You see there's the outside of our card, and then I'm going to go on and move towards the inside and do the same thing with those panels. They're the exact same as what was used on the outside, and those will go on the inside. You don't have to do this, but I just think it's a nice finishing touch, and it makes it so cohesive from the inside, from the outside to the inside of your card. Very fluid. Okay, and then I am going to bring over a little bit of foam tape. Now here's the trick. So this is that inside panel. The shutter is going to fit behind the center panel. So you're going to add a couple of dimensionals or some foam tape, whatever you want, right on those top and lower edges. And then you're going to remove the release paper from just one end. It doesn't matter where it's top or bottom. And the reason you want to do that is because you've got to situate that shutter mechanism behind the center panel. So if you were to adhere this down to the middle of your card completely, you are not going to have any wiggle room. You won't be able to get your fingers back there and situate that shutter. So that's why you only adhere one end of your center panel. Now you wanted to leave enough room for these shutters to move back and forth, so make sure they fit below that top piece of foam tape. That's why I like leaving the paper on the top piece, because I can make sure that I have my two shutter pieces where I need them so that they move very easily between the foam tape. Okay, now you can see I flipped over the pencil marks so you won't be able to see those. Then you're simply going to use some adhesive. Now I like the tape runner adhesive for this. You're going to line it up with that score line, hold it in place, and then close the panel over the adhesive. So the adhesive is face up on one of your little shutter mechanisms, see? And then it's going to catch it when you close that panel. Now this is why you didn't want to adhere the top. See how you have to get these lined up? And they're not exactly perfect, but I'm pretty proud of this shutter card anyway. All right, and then you get the other one with your adhesive, line it up with the crease there on the left side of that panel. And when you have those straight, give it a good press and it catches the adhesive, thereby creating your shutter mechanism. Isn't that cool? Give that a little reinforcement with your bone folder, and then slip this secondary circle that we cut out of craft, and I just give myself a little bit of a pencil line so that I know what sentiment will fit in that shutter opening. I was just trying to give myself a little bit of a guideline there. And then here is my little piece that I cut out for signing the card. Like I said, I like to have that on the inside of the card, not the back or anywhere else. So it's a small space, but you can write a little note and sign your card. That may seem trivial, but it's important to me. I love sending cards, and I want to be able to sign the inside of the card. So that's just a pet peeve with me, that I like to have a little area to sign. So that's why I cut my shutter hole more at the top of my panel than right in the center. Because if I put it in the center, it doesn't really leave enough room for the little signature box. Okay, now I'm putting a little bit of that tape runner on my circle so I can hold it and place it behind the shutter until I have it where I want. And then when I can easily read the sentiment, I'm going to just press that down to the inside of my card. Now this is behind the shutter mechanisms. See that? And then I will bring over my liquid adhesive for this other little signature panel. And it says celebrate, and then you can write a little bitty short note and at least sign the inside of your card. Okay, now look at this magic. Isn't that wonderful? No, it's not perfect, but it's pretty cute. I'll just peel off that paper and adhere the other piece of my phone tape, and that is it. See how quickly this came together? Okay, and then I'm just bringing over a little ephemera. I like this butterfly. It doesn't detract too much from the overall theme of the card, which is just the craft in the black. And then I'm only going to apply glue on one side. You don't want to glue the front of your card shut, so you only apply glue to one side of whatever you're going to use on the front of your card so that it opens easily. Let that dry, and then you can start playing with this beautiful card. It's kind of addictive to just open and close it. I mean, I can't do this enough. I'm so excited about this fun fold card. Look at that. Who isn't going to love receiving this card? So much fun. Hey, I am so happy that you dropped by to visit me today. If you haven't made one of these cards, maybe you want to give it a try. Again, I have the whole recipe for you down in the description on my YouTube channel. Thank you for dropping by every week to see me. I love hearing your comments, and I am so excited to have you drop by my channel. And I hope you get inspired to try some fun fold cards and use up some scrap pieces of paper. And I hope you have a lovely day of crafting. Happy crafting, everyone.